Well, hello and welcome to a new video on a YouTube channel I created to keep my sanity with a level society considers acceptable. I'm confused than usual, and we are playing Skylines 2 today, a game which lets you build massive modern cities full of life and then enjoying these cities with only 10.7 frames per second while your PC turns into a baked potato. And just like in my video for Skylines 1, there's a nice body of water around which is totally capable of flushing my city down to Atlantis. New game! Select map. Sounds like an important choice that might influence our gameplay experience, so let's have a quick look around. And Archipelago Haven already looks like a place where no sane person would ever want to build a city. Then we've got Barrier Island, which is also an island, but has a lot of profit-making oil. Ooh, San Francisco. As much as I would love to trap thousands of innocent people somewhere close to San Francisco, we're actually going to Tampere, because it's the home of Colossal Order, and therefore a prime target for me. It's known for its stunning natural beauty and waterways. The map is located in an isthmus of two large lakes. That's not a real word. And that's also not a real word, as this game secretly set in a distant fantasy world, which are connected by a river. The surrounding landscape is characterized by lakes, rolling hills and dense forests. I like how this game calls resources for an environment-destroying industry. Three-linked highway connections can easily form the backbone of the city's traffic, as if I would care about the city's traffic. This map also has a European theme, so naturally we need all of the forests to make paper for inefficient but overblown bureaucracy. As I climb between minus 13 to 24 degrees, temperature scale the entire world should use instead of Fahrenheit because it makes far more sense. It comes with a buildable area of 66%, which is slightly more than Archipelago Haven, outside connections in form of highways, trains, ships, planes and teleportation, and has a lot of natural resources so we don't starve in the harsh winters. Select map. City name. This city lies in between two lakes which definitely aren't real, so I assume this city. That's it? Okay, so let's take the first letter of every word and we get the most beautiful name a city ever had, the city of Citybuilding-Game. Sounds like England to me. Then we choose a theme. As I said, overblown bureaucracy and no real progress. Left-hand traffic is that a real thing? I knew it's actually a fantasy city builder. Natural disasters? That's obviously a big yes. Unlock all? Nope. Unlimited money? I think we all know what happens when there's too much money. Tutorials? Heck no. And there we are, in the beautiful, naked city of Citybuilding-Game, England. First things first. And after the most important things are done, let's have a look around. We currently have 500,000 coins, like in a fantasy-themed city builder. 0 people, just like I love it. 19 degrees Celsius, and an average mood of boring normal. It's our buildable area, which has a river, a forest, and an old water-powered mill ruin, which is like half a kilometer away from any source of water. Whoever placed this here was a real genius. But he wasn't the only genius, because a little further to the north, there's a second water-powered mill ruin, which is a whole kilometer away from any source of water. And over here we have an awesome castle ruin, which is really close to an actual source of water. Speaking of European theme, building anything this close to an old historical site like castle ruins will most certainly cause every European in a 500-kilometer radius to protest, because that's what Europeans are really good at. And that's the map as a whole. A lot of space to expand and build. Just let me plan this real quick. According to this info layer, we have even stronger winds than during an average first day in Florida, which makes our city a prime location for renewable energy sources like wind. But we'll think about our power supply when we actually need one. Right now, we need to think about our network of streets, and City Skylines 2 let us really go crazy with streets. Like this for example. This is where our city will actually begin, and right over here we have already opened a door into another dimension. What a perfect start. It probably didn't help that I didn't care about height lines or nature at all. You might wonder how this ingenuity actually works. So you enter the city right here, drive all the way to the end of the street before going up on the 6th level. At the end of that level you switch to the 2nd level and so on and so on. If you want to enter the actual city, you have to turn right here on the 5th level and go back and forth a few times before coming to the shoreline and finally reach a destination. In order to prepare for our citizen, we need to provide basic services, water and power for now. And since we have a lot of wind, we should utilize reliable fossil fuels as power source. Milestone 1 unlocked. Glory to fossil fuels. Tiny village. Right. Some stupidly stacked streets in the coal power plant. Their efforts are bearing fruit and your city has taken its first steps towards success. Have you actually seen what I've accomplished so far? With every milestone unlocked we get some rewards, like money, specialization and expansion points, and an expansion loan limit, new buildings, blah blah blah. Specialization points allow us to unlock new buildings, like road maintenance facilities. Have fun with that mess. Second necessity is drinking water, which will suck out of this river full of water like a leech, as well as wastewater treatment, which will give back to nature, as unclean as possible of course. Everything is ready, so let's build some streets. and do some zoning. While we're at it, let's provide our citizens with a clinic. They are going to need it. And a cemetery. They are going to need this as well. And up here we are setting up our industrial area. Industry produces trash, which we'll store in here around these other old and historic castle ruins. Yes, perfect. Isn't it exciting to watch your city grow? While the houses are being built, let's follow this car and see what kind of struggle it is to get to the city. Just be careful not to hit a concrete pillar or being sucked into the earth. And there he arrived. Milestone 2 unlocked, small village, which unlocks taxation all the way up, and education, boring but necessary. Also, it's time for our first territorial expansion, where we encounter some geographical issues. Let's not forget our main road, which is easier said than done. Stupid map, stupid geography, stupid rolling hills. And after some random zoning, we are ready to grow bigger. From this angle, if you close one eye and think of a better looking city, it actually doesn't look that terrible. Imagine living in a small pleasant house with a quiet backyard in which you can enjoy your free time, but this monstrosity is directly behind it. You better watch where your curious children are going to play today. Here's another example. Imagine living in this pleasant house with your solar array on top and a 100-meter tall dirt wall behind it. Could be worse though. Think about the poor soul who lives on top of the dirt wall, where one wrong step means a one-way ticket to the cemetery. Milestone 3 unlocked. Things are looking good. They are indeed, with both eyes closed. Milestone 3 finally unlocks the resource info layer, which reveals fertile land for farming, locations of ore deposits for mining, and oil for making big money. For now we only have access to livestock and stone mining, which doesn't need any form of utility, because stone is pretty much anywhere, even on top of this hill, where you would definitely expect a stone quarry. And I don't care about the life of our livestock. We'll turn them into steaks and nuggets anyway. Found some more mill ruins, very far away from water. Whoever built this building deserves some medal, but I would give you one. There's a traffic jam up here. There's a second lane, you know? You don't have to use the rightmost one. On the other hand, I don't care. Milestone 4. Grand Village. It's not that big yet, which finally unlocks natural disasters as well as forestry and grain farming. Trees aren't safe. Found some cemetery ruins right behind the backyard of these houses. You also better watch your kids. Who builds their home right next to an abandoned cemetery? Actually, land value probably isn't that high around here, and none of your friends will ever voluntarily visit you. Another mill ruin, this time actually pretty close to water. Good job, Mr. Mysterious Miller. Since our industrial demand is quite high, let's do some expansion to the end of this isthmus. Prime example of superior engineering right here. Remember to use your car or go by foot when visiting 60-some. I also found this uneven parking lot. My own insanity is slowly taking over the city. Good. And check out this beautiful backyard, right next to the road and sidewalk. I guess the owner doesn't let anyone disturb his daily sun bath. Motorcycle, let's follow it for a bit. Excuse me? This parking spot clear is for the disabled. Does mental illness count? On the other hand, if you can't see this large sign, you are obviously blind. Time for some expansion. And to plan our first installment of public transportation. At one point this game turns into a traffic fixing simulator anyway. Each track gets its own connection across the street. This surely won't have any negative consequences for the traffic flow later on. And connect to the existing tracks. Looking good. Now we need a train station and more train tracks, setting up some lines to make it even easier for people to move into our city, and it's working immediately. Look at this efficiency. Milestone 5, Tiny Town. You are on your way to greatness. Milestone 5 allows us to mine some coal, which makes burning it to produce electricity even cheaper and much more attractive. So there's our coal mine. There's our assigned area for coal mining. This is a huge tornado, and that's our coal mine partly submerged. At least you don't have to cool down the bucket wheels. Careful with that equipment right there. You might get flushed away. Forest fire. There it is. There it was. Lame. Back to the city. Our demand for residential area is quite high, so let's do some expansion and start with the perfect railroad crossing. Then a network of streets. For this part of town, let's make the buildings as small as possible. Like this. What do you think, dog? He likes it. Such a good boy. In the meantime, Milestone 6. We are moving ahead nicely in small steps. Milestone 6 allows textile fiber farming, as well as heavy traffic ban, which we don't need, and advanced pollution management, which we definitely don't need. And the textile fiber ships sailed roughly 160 years ago, so there's nothing crucial in this milestone. Houses are built and they look really cute. I especially like the space in between them, like all of these people would be social anxious. Let's add some city services and some baby industry, and we shall name this part of town Introville. Perfect. All those new buildings require energy, of course, and since we're already producing large quantities of coal, let's add a second small coal power plant. and expand the city's water supply. And this small pond looks like a perfect source. Now I want to know if we can empty the pond. We also need new wastewater treatment. Can I place this anywhere? Oh my lord. That's a big yes. Now that's what I like to see. Hope we don't mind the sudden flood of poop water. Let's have a few more and the fun continues. I also checked the other sewage outlet, partly underwater, but it's still working. That's the spirit. Found another backyard cemetery. This one even has floating graves. Milestone 7 unlocks ore mining, and we finally have enough points to unlock the large coal power plant, far more efficient with producing energy and polluting the environment, so it's a win-win for everybody. Let's see. Oh my good coal, this is huge. Hold on, I just need some more space. And connected. Look at this beauty. You might wonder what fits perfectly for a huge coal power plant. Some farmland, of course. What's this white thing? Probably snow. It's definitely not coal dust or nuclear fallout yet. Okay, game developers, you're probably very proud of creating seasonal changes, but imagine me recording this at 2 AM in a dark room. It's not pleasant on the eye. Anyway, we need more taxpayers and therefore need more expansion. Great, snow is gone. And it's coming back. Milestone 8, big town. And do you know what big towns are capable of? Oil drilling. Come here, my sweet black money-making liquid. Speaking of making money, there's a big forest up here, which we can also turn into money. As you can see, there's a healthy green around here, and no healthy green where our giant coal power plant is doing its business. I wonder if there's a connection. Anyway, money-making trees. Colorful bars mean rapid, uncontrolled expansion, including a nice college.
This is an emergency broadcast to all citizens.
The city healthcare services are reporting citizens falling ill from tap water that seems to have been contaminated by an as-yet unknown source. All citizens are advised to boil all tap water before use or cease using tap water altogether until the situation is resolved. Seek medical attention if you are suffering from sudden headaches, fever, or stomach pain.
Whoops, I guess it's 100% infinite pond water now. But I have to say the dirty water looks really refreshing in the winter. Meanwhile, our landfill site is filled up quite nicely and you can have a perfect view onto these castle ruins. Water situation solved, back to expanding. Milestone 9, great town. Thank you. I appreciate your compliment. This kindness deserves a university. While we're at it, let's invest a little bit into why is it so huge and so expensive. I actually love these huge buildings, especially when I think about the low-density homes. Obviously were designed by one single architect. Stonehenge in my money-making forest? Isn't that rude? Now you are part of it. Tiny bit more industry. I just found out that we can place 2 roundabouts really close together, which makes me think, can we place roundabouts anywhere? I can right here and create some questionable inclines, but neither trucks nor cars seem to care. They got places to be after all. You can also place 2 roundabouts on this bridge. Doesn't serve any purpose, but we can. There's a tiny green space for a single lonely tree. Can anyone tell me why my garbage management is making so much money? Not that I complain, I just want to know. Milestone 10, and finally we are a city. A small city, but a city, which unlocks high-speed highways and high-density offices. And by high, the game means high. From the top you have a wonderful view of all the factories you don't have to work in because your parents sent you to college. Imagine living in a small pleasant home with a monstrous skyscraper next to it and this picture in the background. But it means the industry is booming. Finally we have enough money for the technical university, which also gives us access to a beautiful oil refinery. You go right here. This building is empty and available for rent. No more industry until my oil refinery is rented out and open for business. We almost reached the edge of the map and we could use another entrance to the city. Of course, a masterpiece of infrastructural engineering. Reaching the edge of the map also means that we can set up an export pipe for water and sewage water. Let the world enjoy the freshness of Pond of Eternal Water Supply water. That deserves its own street name. Profit Water Pond of Eternal Water Supply Avenue. From this angle, in this light setting, it kind of looks like a good looking city, especially with the pillars of smoke in the distance. We still owe our coal power plant an upgrade, so now we can have 2 smoking pillars in the distance. Milestone 11, from small to big city overnight. Sadly from now on we only unlock the ability to steal more money from an imaginary bank, but it allows us to unlock something every city with 33,000 inhabitants needs, a Large Hadron Collider. Ugh. So expensive. While we wait, let's expand our supply of fresh unlimited pond water and make the way there a shaky adventure with the possibility of being run over by a train. Finally the snow melts. Please stay away for all eternity. And there we have a police car attempting to go down the snake lane. Congratulations, you made it! Unharmed. I just found out that our sewage water runs into the highway tunnels. This is awesome! Can we follow a car through it? Unfortunately no, but the fact that we flooded our tunnels with poop is enough satisfaction for me. On an accident right here. How have you managed to do that? Our production panel asks for some iron ore, and there's a perfectly capable iron field right here. Don't forget to flood at least one part so you don't have access to cooling water. And there's some people here. The door is closed, by the way. At least they are determined to get in. They could be exceptional robbers. Why is the paper factory much larger than the oil refinery? Who needs paper anyway? Right, forget we are in Europe. Bureaucracy. Milestone 12. Large city. I love that our city is correctly depicted with all the smog in the background. Even tornadoes love our eternal pond drinking water. And there's our Hadron Collider. What does it do, you might ask? It consumes a lot of taxes and makes me feel like I achieved something. I'm really hitting that role as a mayor. Speaking of making me feel good, how about a completely unnecessary nuclear power plant right next to the Hadron Collider? I'm not an expert, but I'm almost sure it won't have any negative consequences when putting such complex buildings next to each other. With our new nuclear power plant, we are now considered a huge city, with a huge potential to be blown off the map in a giant radioactive explosion. But that's a risk I'm willing to take. And things are definitely looking good. I'm so convinced about the safety of our nuclear power plant, I'm even allowing people to live right next to it. This never had any negative consequences in the entire history of nuclear power plants. Good thing we have this body of water right here so we can get rid of the radioactive waste immediately. Have fun playing football or soccer on your new soccer field with that in the background, and enjoy a wide variety of exotic, almost not glowing from radiation, plants in the botanical garden. To sum things up, you can have some fresh produce from the local farm fields. God, the white smoke really makes it for me. How is my oil refinery still not rented out and open for money making? I told you there will be no new industry until this building is occupied. I made an even better version of masterpiece of infrastructural engineering. I really love that they brake before going down. They probably don't want to damage their cars. Also be careful when crossing the street. Incoming cars might have problems seeing you on time to react properly. And the road signs definitely won the award for genius placement and unquestioned usefulness. I really have to say there is nothing more satisfying than watching the city grow for hundreds of square kilometers in mere moments. This is the city's view from on top of our first infrastructural masterpiece. Isn't it a great view with all the smoke? Okay game, you won. You want more environment polluting industry? Fine. There you go. Got your own environment polluting airport, environment polluting cargo harbor, environment polluting connection to the open ocean, and environment polluting sewage outlets. Milestone 14 and the smoke becomes poisonous purple. Always a correct depiction. The chaos unfolds. Eternal struggle. More expansion. All train travelers out there. Would you know which train track you have to take? Because I wouldn't. There's a promised expansion. Plants in our botanical garden turned rusty brown. I wonder how that happened. I just checked the production panel and apparently we are more dependent on grain imports than Egypt. Let's try to fix it with 2 more farms. Sweet. Chaos. I just had a quick look at our industrial area and someone decided to build 2 large lumber storages on this tiny island. At this point, I'm not questioning it anymore. Milestone 15, a metropolis. And the poisonous smoke intensifies. Oh no. The bright white snow is back. You know, some areas of our city look pretty good, like this collection of skyscrapers in the distance. Didn't expect that, to be honest. Speaking of looking good, I don't like this naked body of water, so why not place a giant round island into it, which is also hundreds of meters high. Prime real estate. My citizens will love it there. Make a connection, free car wash included, and done. There we go. Model Island is open for our citizen. Our oil refinery is still empty. Consider yourself lucky that I'm currently sitting on 98 million coins. Milestone 16, thriving city. I guess it's time to think a little about our city's future. One day there will be no more coal to burn or uranium to make people glow, so let's invest in some renewable energy sources. And since we have a lot of water, not the eternal pond water, that's for drinking and giving back to nature, we should use hydroelectric power. Nothing can go wrong when I'm working with potential flood risks. Now I got an idea how to do that. First let's buy some land with giant lakes, then make way for water, and finally build hydroelectric power plant. Did I say 1? How about 3? And with that we are producing 6.03 megawatts. That's all? And you blame other countries for using reliable coal instead of this crap. At least the ocean water is coming to help. Slowly but surely. One more expansion to cover up this major failure. At least we can place this radio telescope on an island into this lake to sprinkle some glitter onto this pile of trash that is hydroelectricity. And to feel better, we can always look at this part of the city which looks really incredible. Milestone 17, flourishing metropolis. Really? Didn't notice at all. Almost 11 tons of grain imports. Now we need more grain imports than the entirety of Africa. More grain needed. More grain farmers needed. Didn't take long for our island to be abandoned. And could you please get that snow off your car? See, this is what happens when you don't remove snow off your vehicles. Living space is once again getting more and more creative. Alright, since I'm almost at 100,000 citizens with more than 400 million in my pocket, I'm going to do what every good and responsible mayor should do at this point. Take the money and make a run for it. But we could take this newly created international airport, which is huge. I think we should go somewhere much more far away. Allow me to introduce you to the Space Center. Officially a museum and a command center, but secretly my ticket out of this mess. Bye city! I'm going to build a space colony to mess up where no one will ever find me. Until then, thank you so much for watching me build a city with an average British name for a British city, and I see you the next time when I create riches and pollution beyond imagination or logic in the digital world.